Hi guys, I am Toni. I am founder of the World Divination Association and the Card Geek on social media. If you want to find me anywhere on social media, just put in the tag the Card Geek and you will find me. Today we are talking about my first love, which is the Kipper cards. I will be walking through what the system is, how and what you need to start reading with it, and exactly how the Kipper cards can bring a brand new tool into your tool belt. And actually, really, if you are a tarot reader, they can really get some depth into your readings. The Kipper deck, first and foremost. The Kipper deck is a situational deck. It is a deck that shows simply a situation on every single card. There are no symbolic values to the cards like we know in tarot. There are no depth of meanings to the cards. It simply shows a, whoops, I dropped that one already. It simply shows a situation, and if you've asked an advice, obviously how to overcome that situation, or it just shows you what is going to unfold in your life. They are amazing for daily reads, weekly reads, what's going to happen on a physical, normal level of life. A highly predictive tool. So what we're going to do is have a look a little bit at the cards, see how we can start reading with them, and really get you started as soon as possible. I will put my overhead on so you can see what I am working with. And as you see, I have the laying cloth laid out. Just move myself over there. And this the layout are the Kipper cards from number 1 to 36. These are what we call the houses in Kipper. They are the natural placements of a deck as it falls. So we start off with our two main characters, and the main characters are your, let me get them out, are your querent and the querent's partner. If your querent is female, you look for main character 2. The other card then forms the partner card role, regardless of sex. So even if she's in a same-sex relationship, main character 2 will just fulfill the role of a partner card. Similarly, if your querent is male, the main character 1 will be the card that represents them in their lives, and main character 2 will then perform the partner role. We have a lot more people in the Kipper deck. We have our good gent and good lady. They are an older couple in the querent's life. It can be mom and dad. It can be a boss. Both of them can show a boss, somebody more experienced than your querents. And then we have rich girl and rich gent, who are of the younger variety. So if you're looking at a family tree, you would start with the older generation, move down to your querent, and then see a younger generation. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person shown is 100% younger than your querent. It probably a lot of the time in the workplace, etc., will show a less experienced person showing up, somebody who is not as mature as our main characters. So why do we use these two as our reader, as our querent and their partner, and don't employ these as a partner card? The reason for that is the main character 1 and main character 2 are the only cards in the deck that have no other meaning. So main character 1 means querent, main character 2 means querent, and both can fulfill a partner role. They have no other meaning in the game other than that. The other people cards that we see do have other meanings. So yes, this can show an older man and an older lady, but it can also show a mothering aspect or an amount of joy coming into somebody's life. Whereas he can also represent news coming to your querent. And the rich girl and rich gent, if you think about it, a young competitive dude who is absolutely wanting to achieve his life mission and he's really motivated and really getting into things. You can also take him as an essence of that. So if you are motivated within your day, you may see that the rich gent comes up to show that essence meaning. Rich girl, on the other hand, is very carefree. You see, she's got her phone and her bag and her gold on her wrist. She is a carefree friend, or, you know, think of the times when you just want to splash out. You just want to have fun. You just don't want to be working. You want to be doing what you want to do. That's very much the rich girl essence. So there are people cards. We obviously have one more person card, which is the child card in Kipper. And that will show a child who is less than 12 years old. So no older than 12. The other cards then perform the situations. So we have marriage, which shows you the state of your connections. We have convene, which means coming together with people that we love. We have letter, which means obviously communication. Dishonesty shows something that is wrong. And if you get the dishonesty, it's not showing a person is dishonest unless you have somebody falling at this side of that door. So it'll show a situation is wrong or something coming up that, like here, if it is dishonesty and change, there's a change heading in the wrong direction. But again, if a person card would sit behind there, then we could be looking at a person that is dishonest. Change obviously means change. Journey means actually going on a journey or experiences gained. Win lots means amazing stuff coming into you, stuff you've worked for that really is deserved. And then we have sad news. And, you know, in life, sometimes we do get sad news. And as you see from the names even on the cards themselves, you can start understanding what they mean. Good outcome in love means good outcome on any situation. His thought shows romantic thoughts of somebody. If you're wanting to know what does rich gent think of me, for example, you would take this card as showing what his thoughts are on your querent. A gift, a surprise coming in. We then have fatality, which is the act of dying. So something dying off. It does not mean that you are suddenly transforming. It means something is dying, something is ending. Don't take it like a tarot transformation. House is your house, your abode, where you live. Living room shows the internal, so your close circle, whatever is close and happening to you, your most deared friends, family, all sit in the living room card. Military person then is all about rules and regulations and court, conflict, and sometimes decisions that go for or against us. Theft, something is taken. High honors, you get that pat on the back that you have been deserving. Great fortune then bringing an amazing amount of luck and spirituality into your life. Unexpected money showing unexpected income, so things coming to you that you weren't expecting. And then you have your expecting card, which is your expectation, which shows your desires in life. Prison is a very constricting card. Obviously, think about what it means to be in prison, that restriction that is involved. It can also show accidents that happen. Court official are processes that we have to go through in life that we don't necessarily want to go through. Illness shows short illness, things going awry, and also obviously an actual illness, especially when fatality is close by. Sorrow is our card for stress and so much on our plates we don't know what to do. Gloomy thoughts shows depression and really losing ourselves and wallowing in our situation. Work is a lot of work, obviously. Long way shows long distance, long time, anything that takes a long time. And then finally we get to our goal, which is hope, great water. I will just pop me back on camera so I can run through a few more. So as you see, I gave one keyword for each of the words. I will be giving you a list of keywords for the Kipper cards. The best place to start is always with your keywords and understanding, for example, hope, great water, being that goal that you want to get to. It is the end of the Kipper deck. It is the place where we get all our wish fulfillment. So if you look at your Kipper cards as a whole, you can see there are so many different aspects to life that are shown. But the way we read Kipper is in tableau fashion, which means all cards next to each other. We don't lay placement spreads. And we combine that information in order to find out exactly what is going on in a situation, what the cards together as a whole mean. So slightly different to tarot in that you can pull a wealth of information out of your tarot card. It may even just one tarot card. Whereas Kipper, we need to combine minimum around 9 cards in order to see that picture flowing out and to have that full understanding of what the situation is. I am going to show you a little bit that is amazing about the Kipper cards when it comes to interpersonal relationships. If you ever want to know if someone is cheating, which a lot of clients want to know, the Kipper deck is perfect for that. If you want to know what is happening in any interpersonal relationship, the Kipper cards are for you. And the reason for that is because it makes use of the characters within the deck. Not only do we have a querent card, but we also can easily see what will go well for the querent and what will be challenging. The direction in which your person looks is the easy peasy lemon squeezy route. So if you have, I'll just pull a random card here. If you have main character and she has theft, which is a negative card in front of her, it shows you that she will recoup whatever theft it is. So the theft won't be as major as if it was behind her back. Behind her back, anything behind your querent's back is difficult. So this, on this occasion, the theft will be more difficult and it won't be retrievable because it's sat directly behind her back. I will show you on the male because obviously the male faces in a different direction. So random card again. This guy's changing, or there's a change coming to your main character there. And we see ahead of him that that change will be auspicious for him. It will be a positive change for him. If we switch them around, we have a troublesome change for the querent. So Kipper is quite useful in the fact that you can add interpretations based on where the cards or how they interact with one another. If the change was over his head, he would be thinking of a change. They are thought processes. If it's beneath him, he's feeling like he wants a change. But the actions and things that will happen will be either side of him in positive versus negative. So if we take our main character 2 again, and we'll show her thoughts are on marriage. Ooh, she feels committed. She is committed in a positive manner because it's sat in front of her. Her commitments are either she's struggling to meet them, or she's struggling within her marriage. She has trouble in her relationships because it's behind her back. It is providing that negative feeling to the card because of its placement. And what's even better than that is that we can actually see how the characters are getting along with one another. I will pop my overhead on again so that you can see how we work with, let's move that to the side, just a Hauser's reading cloth, and bring in our main characters. So main character 2 faces this direction, main character 1 is looking directly at her. Don't they look happy? They're looking at one another. They are seeing eye to eye. Wow, they are super committed to one another. They could be either living a long distance relationship that's still very close because they're looking eye to eye, or they could be in a long-term relationship depending on what the other cards around us show. However, the second we see our cards sitting back to back, we know they aren't seeing eye to eye. We know that they have an issue with one another. There's something not quite right here. With marriage in an inauspicious situation to both of those cards, it's in a negative placement next to both cards. It shows that the relationship is struggling for both of them. They could be still together because obviously marriage is touching them both, but there are some problems within the relationship that they don't see eye to eye on. Again, this one could show that a long-term relationship is what's keeping them together rather than love keeping them together. It's just, we've been doing this for so long. Or it's two people who aren't happy that they live so far away. So you saw the great relationship, struggling relationship. Another option is who's on top. We have whoever on top being in their thought process. So she's thinking of main character 1. She is supporting him down here. He is playing the major role in the time scale set. So let's bring in our generations. And if we look here, we could say our two querent and their partner, her mom and her dad. Let's see how they're all getting along. If we look at these two, they're seeing eye to eye. They're the first ones you go to. And he's also agreeing with him. She's agreeing with him. However, Good Gent is behind main character's back. So there's some aspect of what Good Gent is telling the main character that they don't agree with. And they're more on the side of the mum because they're looking directly at one another. If we have this, she's on the side of good gent, he's on the side of good lady. They're both agreeing in the end because they're looking at one another. But she is more good lady side, sorry, she is more good gent side because they're looking at one another, and he is more on the side of good lady. If we pop these two back to front now, you can see that he's actually getting on well with good lady, she's getting on well with good gent, and they are not seeing eye to eye on it. So you can see how placement in Kipper can actually tell you an awful lot of information before you actually even read the spread. 1 second, I'll just make sure that's not on my, yeah. So we now want to look at our querent, because we're looking at what the Kipper cards are actually amazing at. And Kipper cards are incredible at figuring out who a person is. Say your querent comes to you and you want to know exactly what is going on in their life. We want to know her thoughts, her feelings, her actions, what's difficult, what's easy. And this can all be done on your first day of picking up a Kipper deck and starting. And you just lay the cross spread to start with. And see what we have. So we have your querent, and your querent comes to you and you really want to know what's going on in their life right now, or what it is that's troubling them enough to come get a reading. And you see that you have gloomy thoughts above her head. So you already know that this person in front of you is of a negative mindset at the moment. They are feeling super stuck. Behind their back, they have journey. They don't probably, or they struggle with their own experience, probably don't see themselves as an experienced person. And in front of her, auspicious, wanting change. So she is negatively with the journey behind her. She's struggling with what experience she has, but she is determined to make a change in it, but feeling stuck. And it's creating this negative view of herself and her abilities with the cards behind. Let's take a look at main character 1 and do, these were just random, I didn't set anybody's person in there. So if a querent comes to you and says, I really am at a loss and I want to know what his feelings and thoughts and even intentions are towards me. So in thought process, they are thinking of leaving because they have theft above. Ahead, journey, going off on a journey auspiciously. Ooh, the main character beneath. And behind her back, good lady, his back, sorry, good lady, showing an inauspicious placement of good lady. So if we look at these cards as a whole, this is the partner that we've asked about. This is the querent. So the querent has her partner very much on her mind. The partner is actually thinking of leaving, or even scared that the querent will leave. But with journey ahead, it's more like main character 1 is thinking of going on that journey and leaving our main character 2 to their own devices. Behind her back, we have good lady, his back, sorry, I keep saying it because of main character 2. Between behind his back, we have Good Lady. And Good Lady, actually in a negative position, could show that she's listening, or somebody's putting the mixer in to say there's something not quite right here, you're not happy. And main character 1 has his back to Good Lady, saying, well, actually, I don't want to know that. But it is affecting and influencing. However, with main character 2 sat directly beneath, he has feelings for her. So even though there is this dash off, or this rash, I need out of here, his feelings are with her. So let's have a look at then when we do a daily, what we can do with the Kipper cards. Let's find our main character again. I will mix in the main character on purpose so you can see how we read it. So a daily box spread, and I'll show you how the cards then are seen as a whole. Military person, that's our rules and regulations. Main character 1 coming up at the top, which is your querent, and work. So the main character 1 is struggling to keep things on track. Military person keeps everything on track, but he's still plodding along and working at it. Then we have living room, Good Lady, and letter. So through work, there are communications with an older woman. Again, they're struggling to get their things in order, and they may struggle with how familiar this Good Lady is with them, because she's wanting to perform a supporting role here. They're very much on the top. But with living room in a negative aspect to main character, then they are struggling with how familiar or how close this person refers to them as, especially when it's a work situation. And it causes them conflict in that the court official is processes that we have to do that we don't want to do. It's in a negative aspect, so it's I really don't want to do this. But the great fortune underneath, this can show that the intentions actually are good of the Good Lady. Yes, she may be a little bit familiar at times and present herself in a more familiar way than main character 1 would like. But she is bringing positivity into the actual work that's being done. So regardless of main character 1 feeling that and sensing that, is something that they actually have to get over. And with prison there at the end, they may have to say, come on, look, I don't like being called babe on a work conference, for example. You know, call me something a little bit more formal at work, and she'll be happy with it, and it leaves then main character in a better position. I will quickly go into what is amazing about the Kipper deck before I sign off. I will pull the tableau so you can see how all cards flow together, because there is something very special about the Kipper cards in that we can use the images of the cards to shift our reading in different directions. It also gives us extra information that may be applicable or will be applicable to any situation. See, main character 1 has this change, wishing below, whooshing. And to connector cards. The connector cards are something extra special in the Kipper world. I have a book, The Card Geek's Guide to Kipper, which shows all the movements. I know that Maria is currently translating and interpreting all my Kipper courses because she is amazing into Spanish so that you can have fun with the movements too. Nearly done. Sorry, I'm the slowest layer because I always look at what houses things fall into. So the amazing thing about the Kipper deck is that we have movement cards. Change is a movement card. It allows you to move and drag the cards in next to it. So from change, you can see it's moving in that direction. It's moving from marriage and into convene. So it's moving from the a commitment and into a togetherness. But then we have another connector card, which you will learn as you go ahead, taking this situation down into a down patch and ending in living room. So what you end up with is a story under the main character from a stock card to a stock card that drags the story through. And you can track when the situation and how it will unfold using a monthly countdown to understand exactly what's happening. So if we look at our main character and main character here, they're both looking eye to eye. They can both see one another. They may be a little bit distant, but they are committed to one another because they share the marriage card. But they're in a positive aspect to one another too. She has unexpected amazingness coming in because we have high honors and unexpected money above her head. It shows that there is probably some amazing contract or offer coming in for our main character too. She's not sure about it, but it's all happening under the main character 1 too. So it involves main character 1 as well. So we move from our main characters through all the rest of the cards, even Long Way, for example. Long Way will start you down here at work. So work takes a long time and that's not good enough for her. So you know this contract's coming in. You know that she's feeling indecisive about it, whether it's a good offer or not. She sees and thinks it's an amazing thing to come in, but her gut feeling is saying, oh, I'm not really sure about this. Or even, will I get it? Because the work is going to take too long. Is it something that I can actually commit to? And the head saying, oh, hell yeah, I can commit to this. And a partner's saying, well, breaks a little bit. Let's break a little bit and break it down and see what's going to happen here. Because I have a feeling that this amazing collaboration and commitment that you're thinking of is actually going to go downhill with illness and affect your well-being or your close circle with living room in the mix. So as you see there, I have jumped from side to side. I will just put me back on camera. And that is the basics of our Kipper card system, the very basics, obviously. If you want to come and join me on Facebook at the World Kipper Association or the World Divination Association, you are more than welcome to do so. Thank you, Maria Alves Hernando, for interpreting this session, and anybody who would like to practice with Kipper cards, tag me in on social media at the Card Geek, and also tag Maria in at the Sibyl's Tarot, and you will always get a response or at least a like and a heart from us. Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you online.